Welcome to the Dance to Heal podcast. I'm your host, Jenny C. Cohen. Join me as I share stories of how life is a dance. I'm a cancer survivor, mother of two, and an award-winning performer who found that mind and body connected movement is vital to healing in a way that is safe and tailored to your life. I created Dance to Heal Wellness featuring the Spotlight Confidence Formula and also authored the best-selling award-winning book, Outside In Recovery, Dancing My Way Back to Myself After Breast Cancer. I will bring new ways to help you on your dance journey and healing path. Are you ready to move? Dance to Heal starts now. Hello, my wonderful audience. Welcome to Dance to Heal podcast. I'm Jenny C. Cohen, and I am so excited to introduce JoAnn to you. Now, JoAnn has been developing a system for exponential growth over the last 20 years, and she's one of the people who benefited from this when she had a head injury back in 2017, and she's been, you wouldn't even know it. Once you get to talking, you'll see what I mean. I got to meet JoAnn because we were both on the operational committee for TEDx Salt Lake City, and from learning more about what she does in her Create Your Journey classes and also her Sassy Jo creations, I knew she was immediately a wonderful fit for this audience. So, JoAnn, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
I'm excited to have you here too. Folks, just remember, by the time you're hearing this recording, JoAnn will have already launched some classes, and you're going to go to her website at sassyjocreations.com. I'm going to spell that out for you. SASSYJOCreations.com. Okay, that's where all of her classes are available to you. She does have a really cool journey one where you create your own whatever you need with her time. So tell me what Sassy Jo Creations is first, JoAnn.
So I fell and got a head injury, and I had always wanted to run my own business. My daughter was out of high school, and I could barely function, and I needed to do something to rebuild the neural pathways in my brain to get back to a normal place. So I started studying business, the legal side of how to set up a business, got my business set up, the name came to me, and I've always been interested in photography and videography. So I started actually just with that. And that was what I was going to do, sell products based off from photography and videography. But as I got going, I realized my goal setting life development program that I had been on myself, I was seeing exponential growth, even during the head injury. And I thought I should share it with people. So I kind of did a rough draft of it. I had some friends sit in a class, and they had been stuck for a decade, one of them, and just was launched in the second class. So, well, I guess I better keep going. And so really, it's just a place for me to play with all my favorite things to do. I love helping people. I love photography, and I love videography. So yeah, it's just a place for me to play.
I love that. I love that. So listen, JoAnn, what I found has more and more of it feels like all of my business mentors and coaches that I follow on Instagram are starting to overlap in this theme of really doing things that you love versus it being a job of skills you might have, but it's not necessarily something you love. And you're a prime example of what they're saying, because oftentimes we think, oh, I don't have to like my job. It has to make me money for a long term versus, oh, no, I love doing this, so it doesn't feel like a job and I happen to get paid.
Yeah,
Right?
I'm hyper. I am going to still be working when I am 150, and I don't want it to be a struggle. Like, I don't want to wake up every day and be like, ah, not another day at work. God, please take me now. And I want to be healthy and vibrant, and just, I want to enjoy my life. And so I've reached a place where I'm playing, and I've healed. I spent my 40s healing. And I'm pretty sure I was 1 foot in the grave at 34. And I couldn't remember more than 4 hours a day. And it was scary. I was like 0.02 over death on the pH scale. So I really, I really don't take anything for granted because I know what it's like to not feel good. And I've watched my family not live a very happy life. And I've been using that as an example to do something different.
I love this permission to do something that you love, and I thank you for that reminder of how much play you have in your life, because that seems to be a reoccurring theme. And I'm not talking about play like I'm gonna go out drinking with my buddies. That's a different type of play, right? That's like almost
Yeah.
like escape play. I meant like actually being present and being able to play.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
I mean, for me, because I used to be an occupational therapist, and I joked that I did occupational therapy so I could learn how to raise my kids. I
Yes.
remember setting up play for my kids when they were little, and people were like, "Oh, did you play with them?" I'm like, "No, it was my job." I took this very seriously. It was my job to make sure they could play, but I didn't actually play with my kids. Like I structured play, I set up safe play, I cleaned up after the play. I never actually really played until during the pandemic, which I call the panini. During the pandemic, I had to play as part of improvisation, like improv for voiceover. And they would make us play games online. And I'd be like, what is the point of this? And then I remember when I was a dancer, this amazing dancer that has since passed away from a brain tumor.
Mm.
She was a phenomenal performer. And I went to take a workshop from her. And I drove an hour to get out there. And it was raining and cold. And she told us to play the first 10 minutes. JoAnn, I was going to punch her. I was like, I paid you $75, drove an hour to come to this workshop, and you want me to play. Like, I cannot believe this. I was so upset, and I realized afterwards that was the key to be a good performer, being able to play.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been a dancer most of my life and until yeah, a lot of the time. And I seriously, if you are worried about what other people think and you're not being a goofball, it is really hard to be good.
Yeah,
And I embrace my inner goofball. I'm okay with that.
yeah. I mean, I remember in acting classes they have these viola spolin exercises where they give you structured play, meaning there were rules to follow per se. There was never really a winner. It was just there was always some element of support in the play, like um, the yes and game, or you had to complete a sentence. Like if there we would alternate adding one word to a sentence, and it could go in any direction, but you could only say one word when it was your turn. So we would start off like the box went to the bathroom, like that kind of stuff. Those type of play games, or a person was in charge and they had to think of an object that started with the letter J, and they could only give one hint at a time. And everybody's madly typing into the chat what they thought the J word was. Games like that, which I would in the past think it was completely stupid. Like, why are we doing this? What's the point? And then over time, I would get addicted to this part of it where that was the only rule. You could do anything. So it'd be like Jabberwocky. What the heck is Jabberwocky? I don't know. It just came out of my mouth, and people were like, "Oh my god, that's so funny!" No, she's talking about juice.
Oh, that's so fun. I love doing that kind of stuff
Now,
now. Yeah, there was a decade where I was more serious, but yeah, I actually raising my daughter, I get along with them better because I'm more their age. A lot of people my age.
I think that's a good point. That's a fair point, because just because you're chronological age doesn't mean that that's how you have to behave, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because the fascinating thing with the younger generation is they haven't completely solidified what life means yet. So there's this open area to have conversations about things in more abstract ways and just kind of be goofy with it and go outside the lines and come at things from new directions because they don't know any better. And I love having conversations with teens and 20 somethings. They're so much fun.
Oh, I love that. That's a good perspective to remember, because they haven't had a lot of limitations or no's given to them yet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They haven't had time to. So if I go out and I try something and I fail at it, I may, in order to keep my ego from being bruised, come up with these reasons why it doesn't work. It wasn't my fault. I mean, I showed up, I did my thing, and obviously it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so there's a wall that you put up for future reference. And kids haven't really had enough time to put those walls up, and they don't necessarily take them as walls when they happen. They're just like, oh, well, that didn't work. Maybe we'll try this over here. And I've watched really rigid people with lots of walls and rules and regulations, and this needs to be done, this, and this. Now, I also do that. I'm not gonna lie. Once I get my routines, I do that. But there's a lot of areas, and if I get to playing in those areas and that's just doesn't work for me anymore, I have the capacity to break down that wall and put a new thing in place, which that has been a very useful tool I developed. But, talking to the younger kids helps you to see that a little bit better because they don't have as many rules about why things don't work and that they can or can't do them. They're just out experimenting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So along those lines, because the audience is going to go check out your website, right? At Sassy Joe Creations with an S.com. For example, the whole thing about creating your journey. What does that mean when someone would set up like a session with you, a series of sessions with you about that?
So a lot of people, like I have some friends who struggle with their weight and they try all these crazy diets. And when they don't work, then they feel like failures inside and they flop over to a different extreme. And they just keep repeating the cycle over and over and over again. And the problem is they're coming from a perspective of there's this thing wrong with me. And if I do this, then I'll be okay here. But that doesn't work because if you don't fix the reason why you're not okay, nothing outside of you is going to fix the reason why you're not okay. And when you keep resorting back to your default center, then you end up feeling worse about who you are as a person, and the cycle just perpetuates. I have watched some great, beautiful, talented, and gifted people just spiral out of control in one area of their life or another because they're doing this. And Create Your Journey is coming at life from a different perspective. It's more of a, so if I want to be an architect, who do I need to be inside my soul to be an architect? What does that look like? What are the rules in my life? What are my perspectives? What do I think about all day? And setting up a plan based on moving forward from the person who is an architect, not the person who is back here struggling and thinking maybe someday if I'm worthy, I can be an architect. If you're already the architect, all you got to do is put the pillars in place and the table's up and it's a solid table moving forward. So it's just a different way of putting your life together. So it's a natural way to walk through your daily life versus fighting somebody else you used to be.
That's so true. That's so
Yeah.
true. We often have all these safety mechanisms set up that aren't keeping us safe except in our limitation. That's all it's doing because it's known versus if we try something new. Like for example, I was just teaching on a summit, JoAnn, and I was telling people how like who loves their weight and then their scale and then I was like, okay, everyone throwing daggers at me. What are we talking about the scale? I was like, because for me the old life was, oh, the scale just shows me how much I'm failing in my life,
Mm.
right? Every single pound that I gained was always, oh, you know, why you're fatter now, you're older, you're just not doing anything. And then for me, when I flipped it and went, oh, actually, if I'm gaining weight, what am I not doing enough of in my life? Because that was one of the few ways my body was communicating with me that I did not understand. So if I flipped it that way and went, oh, wait a minute. If my weight isn't holding steady, that means that I either didn't drink enough, didn't eat enough, or I didn't sleep enough. Or the last one was TMI, didn't poo, like that. All of that would contribute to me not going across on my scale. And
Yeah.
I used to, just fight that. I used to hate being on the scale, and now it became this. If I, get up, use the restroom, step on the scale, and it's just a confirmation. Did I do those things? And I've
Yeah.
noticed that coupled with my weight training, right? If I eat enough calories and sleep enough, my cutoff is 6 hours and 55 minutes, JoAnn. I go less than that, my body's like, you bitch, like you need your 7 hours. And if I don't make that adjustment, the next day I'll see my weight gain. It'll just start piling. And I go right back to that. If I go right back to all my healthy, like my must do's, the weight will go across or drop like this. Nuts.
Yeah, I learned I was judging myself by my weight a lot. And I found that I watched my mom die a horrible, horrible death. And it was decades of immobility and pain, and it was awful. And I mean, I miss her, but I was actually relieved when she passed because I didn't have to watch her suffer anymore. And I decided life was more about mobility. Can I get up and go move all my stuff into another room if I want to? Oh, I just hurt my back. Well, guess what? That is not going to be sustainable for the next 20 years. You probably ought to figure out what's causing that. Oh, I just ate out for 6 days in a row and I'm so tired. And I wonder why I feel like this. And I started paying more attention to how I feel and what I can do if my capacity, and with the injury to my brain, if I don't eat healthy food, I can't function. So if you're talking to me, am I having trouble understanding what she's saying? If I am, what have I been doing the last week? Because that is all exasperated with the things that I have to do. And I notice it fairly quickly right now. But yeah, I mean, just finding different. I don't think weight has to be about your value, but if you value mobility, and I know America has told us that we all need to grow old and fall into nursing homes and then just die there with no kids coming to visit us, but I just really think there's a better way to do life, and that's where I'm headed. And
Yes.
and it was interesting too with people that I talked to. Like, I just bought a guitar a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to play guitar. I don't know anything about this guitar. These angels just popped out of the universe, and I ended up with this guitar, and they helped me get it into tuning order. And people are like, why are you picking up a guitar at your age? I'm like, why wouldn't I? I mean, it's just interesting. People I've talked to are surprised with a lot of the stuff I'm doing, just because there's this preconceived conception that, you raise your kids, you sit around, you play with your grandkids, and you just slide into the recliner. And that is not, I don't think, a place I want to go necessarily.
Okay, so my only audio viewers, you got to go to YouTube to see my horrified expression as JoAnn's going through this scenario, because I'm like, no, 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 no. First of all, I already raised my kids, homeschooled them from birth. I'm done with raising children. They already know if they have kids, I'll be the visiting elder. I will not be the raising your child for you elder, because I already went through that with them. I'm like, people talk about their kids moving out. I'm like, no, you can live here. I'll just move out. I'll be in my RV all over the country.
There you go.
You can stay here with the pets. Mommy's gone. Like, it's all good. I love that story though. I think oftentimes where the growth can happen is not to step into this your own preconception of how you're going to age. And that I think as we age, we're actually more free, and people don't understand that. And it's really important to realize that if you're feeling limited, it's actually just coming from you. Even if you have illness or an autoimmune disease, or physically can't do something, again, that perception is you. Am I being mean, JoAnn? I don't think so. Jenny's in real talk mode right now.
Yeah, I mean, most things you can heal and reverse. Some things are what they are, but you can figure out ways to live with those in a positive and energetic way. I believe I I mean, I've overcome and when I went to college, I was 20, how old was I? I was 23. I wrote on a piece of paper all of the elements in my family, and it went up around the edges of the paper and around a couple of times. And the teacher held it up and she goes, "You see this paper? This girl is not going to have a choice on whether or not she takes care of her health as she ages, because she does not have the universe on her side." And I was like, thank you. I mean, and I was deathly ill in my 30s. I was really sick. 20 years of being horrible to my body. Growing up, back when we grew up, everybody smoked in the house, and the house was always filled with cigarette smoke. People drank coffee all day long. Vegetables, I thought, were just a decorative part of the supermarket. I didn't even know people ate that stuff. It's like, 20, 30 years of that, your body's like, dude, stop it. So I've overcome so many different health issues to be this vibrant and whole. And my next step is to get my strength back. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's this year.
Yeah. They're saying that as you age now, cardio more than 30 minutes throws women into higher cortisol levels, which then defeats the whole point of the exercise of cardio for your heart.
Really?
And it's like we still need cardio, but not high end cardio more than 30 minutes. And we need more muscle. Like muscle is the secret to longevity as you age. They're like, it's a direct correlation. How much muscle you have in your body.
Well, and you've got to, because your ligaments and tendons hold everything in place. So if your muscles aren't strong, your ligaments and tendons aren't strong, and nothing's being held in place, then when you do things, you get injured because nothing's where it's supposed to be. Yeah. It's not designed to operate where it's functioning. So exactly. That is my next challenge, is to get that little puzzle piece fixed.
Exactly. And the fact that you're aware, that's what we're hoping for you, audience. Like, where do you need to be focusing on? Because oftentimes we put ourselves on the back burner. Like, we're the last thing we get to. And I'm going to suggest, as we end this time with JoAnn, you're going to have to come back because there's more things to talk about. Try tomorrow putting yourself at the top of the list before you address everybody else's needs. Because I think that's your birthright, to take care of yourself first, even though we tend to feel like we have to prove it first. Right? Like, think about your self-care before you do laundry or wash dishes or cook something for someone. Like, just take care of yourself first, so then you're really grounded before you start serving others.
Can I tell you a little secret to that too?
Yeah. Tell us a secret.
So a lot of people, subconsciously maybe, some know it, they don't value themselves as important in the family. Like, they never have taken the time to say, hey, I'm important, I'm valuable, I love myself. If you can look in the mirror and say, I love myself, it doesn't mean you're arrogant, you're not being snotty, snooty, or crazy. You have to love yourself. You're the only you've got, and you are with yourself all the time. Yeah. So, if you value yourself, you take care of yourself. And those just two things go together. So.
Yes, you lead by example too, because anyone that looks to you in any way, and there are many more people looking up to you than you realize, how you treat yourself sets an example for how they treat themselves. So for some of us, we're fighting worthiness of ourselves, even deserving what you just suggested. And I want to tell you that until you step into that belief for yourself, remember, there are eyes watching you and emulating you. And so if you can demonstrate how important it is to self-love or self-accept or self-bless, the better the whole rest of the world is for that. JoAnn, thank you so much for coming. I really enjoyed this conversation. Remember, you can also make use of my gift at danceandheal, that's HEAL.com. We're going to shift to a new gift on that link, so save that for future reference. And remember, you can also make use of all of the things that we talked about with JoAnn at her website at sassyjoecreations.com. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Dance to Heal podcast with Jenny C. Cohen. Come back next time to hear stories of inspiring triumph and learn more ways that you can heal yourself. To work with me and continue your journey, visit danceandheal.com. Are you ready to move?